let us talk about the last lecture contents, what we have started with. We have basically started with a concept called as collection. And if you talk about collection, I have shared one diagram which is called as collection framework. It is basically with respect to the data structure ready-made classes, we go for collection. Out of which I have also explained the collection hierarchy. The super interface was the iterable, then there's a collection, then there is a list, and then we have seen ArrayList as a class. In the last lecture, we have only focused on the ArrayList as a first collection. Whenever you are talking about collection, we have seen few things. How actually the collection framework for one specific class looks like. Then we have also seen why they have made iterable collection and interface list as an interface. Then we have seen the class hierarchy of the array list. Then we have also observed the concept of generic is majorly used in case of collection. And we have also seen that collection always takes primitive, non-primitive type of data. Then if you talk about any collection, so we have created first collection called as array list. What is when to use array list? When I want ordered set of sequence. What do you mean by ordered set of sequence? The way I'm inserting the data in the array list, on the similar lines, we also go for something called as getting the output. The same sequence is followed. The second point that we know is if you want to go for array list, there is, you can say, 3 more interfaces which were implemented. One was clonable, second was random access, third is serializable. About serializable, you will understand at the time of file handling, so this wasn't pending. But yesterday, I have also explained something called as clonable interface, which is called as marker interface. Now, in your interviews, mostly, if the question is asked on the topic called as constructor, so the related questions will come like constructor overloading, constructor chaining, constructor, you can say types of constructor, difference between default constructor and default parameterless constructor, and so on. When the question on interface comes, so maybe the question is asked, how do you achieve multiple inheritance? What are the different types of interface? Have you ever created your own interface? Have you used some predefined interfaces? So you can just spell out some interfaces like you have used iterable, you have used iterator. Today we will see comparator and comparable. We have seen clonable, random access, serializable, and many more. So these are some predefined interfaces. That day, I have also explained you the concept of predefined or user-defined interface. You can also create user-defined interface. But once these interface question comes into the picture, then the immediately next expected question is, can you create the object of interface? If no, then how do you go ahead? So we create a reference of the interface and so on. And then immediately question comes over here is, what do you mean by a marker interface? Any interface which is not having its own method, that is called as marker interface. For example, clonable is marker interface. Clonable just is, it's like a tagging interface. The reason is we cannot clone every object. The class who implement clonable interface have the right to access the object class clone method. Similarly, random access is one interface which is implemented in ArrayList. What does it mean? This is also the marker interface. It helps you to access the data in a random manner. So random manner kaise? When you say get and specific index, ArrayList goes directly to that particular index and fetch the element. So in ArrayList, if you want a faster searching operation, then you go for ArrayList. The reason is ArrayList supports random access. Whenever I'm passing some data to be searched, it goes randomly to that location and try to fetch the data. That's why we say ArrayList implements random access. Apart from that, we have also seen some methods of ArrayList class. So ArrayList was a generic class having some methods. Add all, add at specific location. Then we have seen clear, clone, contains, get method, index of, is empty, iterator. You can use list iterator also. That is also okay. That is having the same functionality like a iterator. Then you have remove object, and so on. So you can easily go for ArrayList class and use the methods defined within the ArrayList. Yesterday, we have seen the ArrayList in complete detail. Then we have also seen, in case of ArrayList, along with your primitive data types, maybe capital integer I, capital D double, capital F float, that means for upper class, you can also have your own ArrayList, right? Which is of user-defined class, which is called as, you can say student class का मैंने एक example लिया था. I hope you all are remembering the things and you all have practiced. ArrayList and object class both are in different package. Then how come ArrayList define clone method from the different class? The reason is, if you see, ArrayList is a public class, object is a public class, and when you say a public declaration, you can access that class outside the package. That concept we have already seen. Are you there? Have you understood? आप कितने भी जावा के क्लासेस ले लो, all the classes in Java are public. Public indicates what? You can access it outside the package, though their package is different. अगर ऐसा नहीं होता, अगर ये सारे क्लासेस पब्लिक नहीं होते, तो मुझे सिर्फ पैकेज लेवल विजिबिलिटी मिलता था. तो मैं अगर पैकेज लेवल विजिबिलिटी मिलेगा, तो मैं कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ फंक्शनलिटी एपीआईज नहीं यूज कर सकती. एंड दैट्स व्हाई you can take any class, whether it is normal class or exception class or any enum or something. All the classes are declared as public. Right? Have you got the answer, Prajo? Did you get the answer? Perfect. Next, another point. आपको ये भी एक पॉइंट याद है क्या कि एक पर्टिकुलर फाइल में एक ही पब्लिक क्लास हो सकता है जावा के? डू यू रिमेंबर दिस पॉइंट? अगर आप एक जावा फाइल में मल्टीपल पब्लिक क्लासेस डिक्लेयर करोगे तो जावा विल नॉट अलाउ यू. करेक्ट. तो कैन यू सी इन दिस केस java.util पैकेज ले लो, java.lang पैकेज ले लो. उस पैकेज के अंदर कैन आई हैव, अभी इतने सारे क्लासेस बनाने की क्या जरूरत थी? सब कुछ एक ही क्लास में बना देते थे वो लोग. दे कुड नॉट क्रिएट. द रीजन इज उनको ये सारे क्लासेस कैसे चाहिए? पब्लिक. तो मेरे पास abstract collection डॉट जावा फाइल रहेगी, abstract list डॉट जावा फाइल रहेगी, abstract map डॉट जावा फाइल रहेगी, ArrayList डॉट जावा फाइल रहेगी. Are you understanding the scenario? So in your big project, if you have one package, if you want to divide the data, you should create those many number of .java file, because those many number of .java file will have public classes, and one file में एक ही public class हो सकता है. इसलिए तो हर एक पैकेज में इतने सारे अलग अलग क्लासेस है, अलग अलग क्लासेस सारे पब्लिक है. तो बैकग्राउंड में आपको इतना तो रियलाइज होता रहेगा एवरीवन कि ये सारे डिफरेंट डिफरेंट .java फाइल्स रहेंगे. डू यू ऑल अग्री? कहां पे रहेंगे ये .java फाइल्स? Can you quickly tell me where these .java files will be there? In the source folder. In the source folder. And इन्हीं .java file का compilation .class कहां पे रहेगा? Do we have a bin? Do we have a bin? Predefined APIs के लिए bin folder है क्या? Are you sure? If you are sure, then can you please tell me what is rt.jar file? I hope you remember day 2. I hope you have understood. rt.jar फाइल के अंदर ये सारे कोड्स कंपाइल किए गए हैं, राइट? कंपाइल किए गए मतलब उनकी .class फाइल rt.jar में है, राइट? ठीक. So let us now continue. So everyone, before proceeding ahead, are you all comfortable with using of ArrayList, its methods, and predefining an ArrayList of a user-defined class? Yes. Now, if you use add method, can you say add method adds one element at the end of the list? Perfect. But if you want to add multiple elements, in that case, you can always use a for loop. You can take the input from the user and add it. You have to give a call multiple times within the for loop. Having used this add method in the last class, using the for loop, there's no function. There's something called as add all, which will add all the elements. Having used add in the for loop in the last class, कुछ याद है? हमने एक डेटा एरे क्रिएट किया था. उस डेटा एरे में से हमने ArrayList बनाया था by using the add method. Are you there? Do you remember? I have covered this. Perfect. So either you can use add, or if you have 100 elements in some specific collection, you want to add those 100 elements into the ArrayList, definitely you can use add all method. That's it. All right. So let us go ahead to the next point, which is called as linked list. So what is today's agenda? Today's agenda will be first linked list, then maybe I'll go for a stack, then I'll go for a vector, then maybe after vector we can go for a queue. We can go for a queue, which is an interface, and then we can go for map or hash map, or you can say map and a set. This is what is there. And we can see something called as comparator and comparable. This covers your complete collection actually. So this is what is remaining with respect to collection framework. I shall store it in correct location. All right. Now, let us talk about the linked list first, right? So we have seen list hierarchy, array list. Let's talk about something called as linked list. We will see iterator, fail fast, fail safe today in today's session, right? So when you talk about a linked list, do you know what is linked list, everyone? A linked list is nothing but some set of nodes, right? And each node points to next node, right? And the first node is nothing but the head node, which points to the first node always. Node consists of two things. One is data, another is pointer to the next node. And the last node is called as the tail node, and here it is nothing but the last node, right? So when you say a linked list is a set of collection of nodes where each node represents data and the next, right? Where each node refers the data and the next. Similarly, in case of linked list, the first node is head and the last node is tail node. In case of linked list, what all operations that you can perform? You can add the first node. You can add the node at the end. You can add a node at some specific position. You can remove the first node. You can remove the last node, and so on. Right? Now, if you can just recollect the few functionalities in case of data structure, अगर मुझे, if I want to insert a node at this location, which is in between head node and this node. तो आपको याद है, पहले आप इसका कनेक्शन इसके साथ बनाते थे, फिर इसका कनेक्शन इसके साथ बनाते थे, एंड देन ये कनेक्शन को हम ड्रॉप करते थे. डू यू रिमेंबर? और एक नया नोड इंसर्ट हो जाता था. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज एडिंग अ नोड एट सम स्पेसिफिक पोजीशन. Perfect. On the similar lines, suppose I have to add a node at the end. In that case, what you might have done? You might have checked whether head of next, last node जब तक null नहीं आता तब तक आप पहले traverse करते थे and then आप इसका connection यहाँ पे होता था and then this was the last node. Do you remember? These things you have also done by writing the program in C, right? Next, if you can see, I want to add a node in the beginning. तो पहले पहले आप इसे हेड नोड से पॉइंट कराते थे और इसका नेक्स्ट इसे पॉइंट करता था, हेड आपका यहाँ पे पॉइंट करता था. दिस वाज द सिनेरियो दैट यू हैव इम्प्लीमेंटेड ऑन योर ओन. डू यू रिमेंबर? परफेक्ट. नाउ ऑन द सिमिलर लाइंस, इन केस ऑफ Java collection API gives you a class which is linked list class. Correct? Now, is it a generic class? Yes, it's a generic. Next, belongs to which package? Java.util package. If you can observe this, this is the sequence. We have a class linked list, having the superclass abstract sequence list, having the supermost class as an object, having the package called as java.util. In the class linked list, it implements the list, double-ended queue, clonable, and serializable. Now, please observe, it implements list. तो कहना इसे इसके पास सेम लिस्ट के जैसे मेथड्स रहेंगे, add, get and so on. Yes. It implements double-ended queue called as a DQ. That means DQ भी एक interface है. Why it is giving me double-ended queue? Because at some scenarios, when you say I have a linked list which is looking like this, इसे आप singly linked list बोलते थे. But अगर आपके पास ऐसा एक linked list है which is having two-way directions, right? Which is having two-way directions. In that case, do you remember that linked list is called as doubly linked list? Do you know this, everyone? So, अगर मुझे doubly linked list है, then I'll say it is double-ended queue type of functionality. And when I say I have a singly linked list, I'll say normal linked list. So that's the reason. It is implementing list, it is implementing double-ended queue, it is implementing clonable and a serializable. Now, I hope you all remember, if my linked list is implementing clonable, then can you please tell me which method will be there in the linked lists? That's clone method. Perfect. Good. If it is implementing the list, can you see it is also implementing iterable and collection? That is absolutely true. Right. So, okay, if you observe this definition, this is how the definition is. But what else other interfaces it is implementing? It is having iterable, collection, and queue. यहाँ तक समझ में आया? Yes or no? Perfect. Now just observe methods. Can you see add method? Why I can see add method? It is because it is there in the list hierarchy. It appends the element to the end of the list. Again, I have a add method at some specific index, add all and so on. Can you see? Add first. It inserts the element in the beginning of the list. Add last adds the element to the end of the list. Clear. Do we have a clone method? Yes, because ये implement कर रहा है clonable interface को, so I shall have a clone method in its method definitions. Correct? Next contain element, get first, get last. Somewhere you have remove last. Right? Now, listen very carefully. There are all methods. There are instance and concrete methods. So these are the different methods which are defined within the linked list. Correct? Now, if I'm saying I am creating a simple linked list, I'll say linked list. It's a generic linked list. So I'll just say linked list of string. Maybe I'll give a name linked list is equal to new, or I'll give a name as a list is equal to new linked list. Again, I'll say I want to create a linked list of type string. Since linked list is not there in java.util or java.lang, so I have to import java.util. So I'm importing this, right? Now, if I'm saying list.add, right? I'll say Sunbeam. List.add, maybe I'll say Pune. Again, list.add, maybe I'll say Karan. And let us say here I'll say list.add, maybe Infotech, and so on. And if I would like to just print this list, I can just write list is equal to plus list. Right. Semicolon is missing. Thick. Let us execute this code and check. Can you see it is giving me the list by adding the elements? Right. That means whenever you are creating a linked list, in that case, when you add the element by using add function, behind the scene, it is actually creating 4 nodes. And let us say, I'll give it a name as an initial list. This is my initial list. Correct? Now, if you want to add a node at the first position, so I'll say add a node or element at the first position. Means, in short, insertion of node at the head. So I will say list dot add first. What I'll pass over here, I'll pass some data. Maybe I'm just passing Akshita. And let us just try to print the list. Once again, let's execute and check. Can you see the element is added at the first node? Have I written any code for it? No. The reason is I can directly use an API. And that is what is the beauty of your collection APIs, right? Next, let us say I'm just writing list.add last. Maybe it is of type string, so I will just pass some data and maybe I'll say India. So I'll just try to print the list once again and let's try to print it. Can you see the last node is added, right? तो अगर आपको पता है कि add element, add first, add last are used normally with a linked list, you will go ahead with this, right? Next, let us say I want to add a element, but this element is to be inserted at index number 1, and I want to insert some data. If you use add method only with the 2 parameters, it specifies the position and specify the content. Let us just try to print the list once again and let's execute. Can you see at first location, it has inserted some data. Are you okay? Yes or no? Perfect. Now, next, whenever I'm talking about the linked list, then you can also use something called as a list dot, or I'll just put it over here, removing the first element. So I'll say list dot remove first. Let's check. Can you see the first element is being removed and answer I've got it as first element, right? Next, if you want, remove the last element. So I can just say list dot remove last. Let us assume I want to remove at some index, which is 1. So removing the element at index. So in this case, I'll say list dot remove and here I'll pass 1. Let us try to print the data after removing few elements. Can you see? The remove first element is removing the first data. Removing the last element is removing this. Removing the at some index, it is removing this. And removing the list, it is giving, after removing the elements, the list has been modified. You can pass any index and it will work fine for you. Have you understood up to this point? It's easy because एक अगर आपको method आ गया, array list आया तो ये methods use करना easy है. Correct. Next, if I'm saying I want to fetch the element from the list, so I'll say get method. So I'll say list dot get and maybe I'm passing what's there at index number 2. Let's check. Is it giving me Pune? Yes. At 0th index, this is first index, this is the second index. Correct? So this get method is used to get the element at some specific location. Right? Now, next point. Let us assume in this scenario, I want to print a list. So what I have used? I've used a list function. Let us try once again. I'll just copy this. System.out.println and I'll say list. Behind the scene, it is giving me the list. Is the voice is lagging? Let me just check the internet speed. Let it get stable then. Now it's fine. All right. Take. Anything that you have missed? So let us continue. Okay. So let us say we are trying to print the list. So please observe when you are printing the list object, it is going to work with which method? ToString. Do I have a ToString method into it? No. But list hierarchy में कहीं तो हमारे पास abstract collection में ToString method है. तो ये ToString method क्या करता है? Returns a string representation of the collection which consists of list of elements in the order they are returned by the iterator. The elements are enclosed in the square bracket. Edges and elements are separated by comma and the space. Is it what that I'm getting? Yes, because ToString is getting called. Next, let us say in this scenario, whenever we are talking about it, you can say linked list. Let's check. Do we have iterator over here? I index it. But do we have iterator in the list collection? Somewhere. Can you see here iterator? It is also inherited. Correct. Iterator method returns me iterator interface. So that means, can I just write list dot iterator? इसका return type क्या रहता है? Quickly tell me. Iterator का return type क्या रहता है? Iterator interface with a string data type because my list is of this string and I'll say ITR. I need to import java.util iterator. Next, while itr dot has next system.out.println itr dot next. Are you remembering the exact same concept that we have seen in the last class? Check it out. Is it displaying me all the details properly? Can you see the output, everyone? Perfect. So either you can go for printing the list by using a ToString, either you can go for this. Next, shall I write for each string s inside my list system.out.println s? Can you see I'm getting the output? कुछ समझ में आया? how your array list, how your linked list is working for you? Yes or no? So you can go for creating the linked list and checking whether you have which type of format to display. If you want just data, you can go for this. Next, in this case, can you see there's a size method? It returns a number of elements in the list. So can I say for in here, if I write string s is equal to 0, will it work? Will it work? No. The reason is initially string is a class. उसको 0 से नहीं, उसे null से करना पड़ेगा initialize. So that's the reason we never go for this type of a for loop whenever you are working with this. You can go for I equal to 0 for integer I equal to 0, I less than list dot size. You can go for I plus plus and system dot out dot println, and you can write list of list dot get I. Can you see I'm getting the output? If you want, I'll put some statements. All right. Coming to your point, if you can observe, as I've mentioned everyone, whenever you want to print the data, you have different options to print. And if you can observe what is the difference, there is no difference in case of using of methods, in case of getting the elements of the methods, in case of applying the data, in case of you can say adding or removing the elements, then, and also if you can observe here also, let us say I've created a linked list. Let me complete, then I'll tell you the difference then. I'll copy this. We will try to print the list first. Initial list is equal to, I'll say plus list. And then here I'll go for something called as contains. So I can check list dot contains and I'll pass some data. When you see it's returning true, let's try for small s. It's returning false, right? So it is basically used for searching also. Next, I hope you remember something called as clone method, correct? So I'll just copy this, correct? Maybe I'll say this is my list 1. And we will go for list 2, linked list of string, maybe list 2 is equal to list 1 dot clone. I hope you remember clone method is having a return type as object. So this is going to return me object. So object cannot be assigned directly to the linked list. The reason is object is your superclass and linked list is your subclass. And that's the reason. If you want to go for something called as clone method, you always do some typecasting. So that's what I have typecasted. If you try to print list 1 and list 2, it will just print your data. You can perform the job of making the changes in the list 1 and in the list 2 and observe they will not, they will work separately. So this is list 1 and list 2. So these are the two lists that we have. If I'm making the changes, list 2 dot add, and I'm adding some data to it. After adding the data in the list 1 and in the list 2, list 1 shall remain same, list 2 gets reflected. That's called as cloning. Do you all remember the same functionality of linked list? Correct. Now, if you have similar kind of functionality in the linked list, right? So now the question comes as addition element किया, sequence वैसे ही आया, add element added at the end, get element given the element, can clone the linked list, yes, can clone the array list, yes. We can print the data elements in different ways. Both are possible in case of linked list as well as in the array list. We can apply the iterators also in case of linked list as well as in the array list. Then what is the one major difference? Check it out. If you can go to array list, somewhere over here, please observe array list was implementing something called as random access, right? Is my linked list is implementing random access? No. Perfect. Next, array list is not implemented double-ended queue. But can I say linked list is implementing double-ended queue? Right. Perfect. So if you say in case of array list and the linked list, go for the array list when you have an application where you want to go for more number of times searching operation because it implements random access. So when you search, the searching performance will be faster as compared to your linked list. But when to go for a linked list? In short, when you have more number of addition or deletion of elements from the collection, then you go for linked list. So program wise, they are not different. Performance wise, they are different. What makes a difference? If you use an array list, if you have an application where you need to just perform searching, you do not have to add or remove the elements. If you just want to go for a searching, go for an array list because array list implements a random access, which is basically allows you to go to some specific index directly. Though how it will go, I have a get method. So array list goes to that index directly. So searching will become faster. But when you want to say, ma'am, linked list में भी get method था, even though linked list में get method था, but linked list हमेशा searching sequential pattern में करेगा, starting from the first node, and then performance will get decreased. But when you say linked list, if I want to add an element first location, add an element at last location, add an element some specific position, and so on, here I am implementing double-ended queue from both the ends. Addition, deletion, removing of elements is allowed. In that case, this particular operation will be done in a faster way. So did you understand when to go for array list, when to go for a linked list? Everyone? So the one who have asked me if the functionality is same, then what is the major difference between two? The major difference is only the operations that you would like to perform in future, and these operations will affect the performance. तो अगर आपको सर्चिंग ऑपरेशंस का परफॉर्मेंस फास्ट चाहिए तो आप एरे लिस्ट यूज कीजिए. अगर आपको लिंक लिस्ट एडिशन एंड रिमूविंग ऑफ एलिमेंट्स फास्ट चाहिए तो आप लिंक लिस्ट यूज कीजिए. दोनों भी यूज करेंगे तभी भी चलेगा, बट परफॉर्मेंस smallest programs में नहीं समझ में आएगा. But when you have a bigger applications, then you decide the you can say specific data structure. Is it okay? Perfect. So I'll just save this as array list and linked list. ठीक. Let us try to create a linked list of class employee. It is exactly same, but let me just give you one example. So I'll say class employee, having integer emp id, having string name. Maybe I'll go for some constructor and parameterized constructor. And here I'll go for parameterized constructor. Let us have a toString method. Right? Let us generate a toString. And then I want to create employee E1 is equal to new employee. Maybe I'll pass some ID and name. ID and name. Similarly, I'll go for creation of 4 employees, 2, 3, and 4. Maybe I'll pass some ID, and obviously I'll change the name. You can create array of references, you can create array of objects, and then you can have number of employees records into that array, correct? I want to add individual employee object inside the linked list. So first of all, I need to create a linked list. Which type? I'll go for employee type. Next, I have to import java.util, and we will say list.add, maybe E1. Individual element I can add, and this will create the for each employee E inside the linked list. Let us try to print E. Let's check. It's going to give a call to toString and printing the records. Did you all understand? It is exactly the same. Only the point is, I want to go for these many operations based on the required collection, right? If you take some more employee, you want to add it as a first record, you can use add first, you can use add last, add at specific position, and so on. Is it okay? Is it okay? All right, good. So, shall I give you one practice question? Perfect. Take. So you can create a class which is class mobile, having some fields, maybe name of the mobile, brand, or you can say company of the mobile, maybe price of the mobile, and maybe you can have some ID within the mobile. That's it. You can create constructors. You can have these fields as private. Constructors, define karo, constructor, specify toString, specify the getters and setters, and that's it. Okay. After that, you create in the main. First, give the option create an array list. Option 2, create an linked list. अगर यूजर array list बोलता है तो यूजर को आपको ऑप्शंस देने हैं. Add element, you can say add at position, maybe remove or remove at position. ये 4 ऑप्शंस देने हैं आपको. It's a nested switch case. Again, if you go for a linked list, same. Add at position, but here I'll add 2 more. Maybe add first and remove last. And finally, you can display the final array list and display the linked list. Did you all get the practice question? Perfect. Good. I'll just save this. So I'll say second practice question. Right. Why to create our own array when we have an array list and linked list? See, when you want to go for simple operations, like you want primitive types in a collection, then you can go for an array. If you want non-primitive type, go for array list or linked list. अगर मैं आपको बोलती हूँ कि मेरे पास एक लिस्ट है, कलेक्शन है, जिसमें 20 नंबर्स चाहिए, तो will you go for an array list? No, you will say, ma'am, you need 20 whole numbers. I'll give you option, create an array which is having a memory location of 20. Why would I go for a dynamic memory location, or why would I go for a reference type of data? You will simply say this. But if I'm saying I want the array list because मुझे आगे चल के इसके ऊपर functions भी perform करने हैं, I cannot give a call to num.add and so on. In this scenario, I'll say you better use an array list of type integer, and maybe I'll say array list is equal to new array list of type integer. So here, what is the major difference? You can give the call to the methods list.add, list.remove, list.add at position, remove at position, get, and so on. But in this array, you cannot do those things. So have you understood when to go for a normal array and when to go for a collection. Are you there? Did you all get? Only for primitive and non-primitive. Yes. क्योंकि अगर मैं बोलती हूँ मुझे primitive values ही store करनी है, तो why would I go for collection? But अगर मुझे किसी set of collections और उसके ऊपर कुछ functions perform करने, I cannot go for primitive. I have to go for non-primitive. Is it okay? All right. Right. So, will you please do this question today? Everyone? Perfect. Good. So, let us talk about the next point. So, we have created linked list. So, let us go ahead to this diagram. Collection framework. Right. We have seen, I'm sorry. Right. We have seen something called as array list, linked list, right? Let us observe vector and there is one more stack, right? So let us take stack first. I'll go to the list hierarchy. In the list, you have one implemented class, which is called as stack, right? I'll create a new project. Any doubts in the linked list? I hope you have understood the difference too. Shall we proceed? ठीक है. Let us talk about the next thing, which is called as stack, correct? So I'll just create a new class. Now, again, if you can see class stack, it's a generic class. If you want the functionality as last in, first out operation, then you go for stack, correct? Next point. In case of stack, normally the functions that you use is push, pop. Do you agree? Perfect. Similarly, here also, if you can see class stack having java.util as a package name. Stack class का actually super class vector है. We will see vector also. But let's first observe public class stack extends vector. Stack represent last in, first out, LeafO type of stack of objects. Correct? Next, the usual push pop operations are provided as well as peek at the top of item on the stack, whether the stack is empty or not. A method search from the stack item, discover how far it is from the top. I'll explain few methods, but let's see methods. Can you see it is saying these are the methods which are present in, you can say, kind of a stack, correct? जैसे आप functions implement करते थे data structure में, are the functions are having the same name? Push function, pop function, peek function, and so on. Is it correct? Right. So it is for the ease of a user that user can easily understand that when I'm using the stack as a collection, I can easily go for push, pop functions. No doubt, you can see here there is an add method also. You can use add method also. But what are more convenient to you? More convenient are push and pop, because when you talk about stack, तो ये convenience ज़्यादा है, right? Perfect. So, let us go ahead and observe. If you talk about this, you can say push, pop, peek. Let's first create the stack. As we know, stack is a generic class. So maybe I'm saying stack of integer, stk is equal to new stack of integer. It is always going to be taking non-primitive type. I'll say import java.util. That's a stack. Next, I'll say stk.push, maybe 10. stk.push, maybe I'll say 20. stk.push, the third element 30, the fourth element 40, and stk.push, fifth element 50. Let us just try to print the stack. Let's execute. Can you see I'm getting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50? Perfect. Now, the push element, the push function is used to push the item onto the top of the stack. So check. How do I check the top of the stack? We have a method which is called as peek. So what does a peek method do? It looks at the object at the top of the stack without removing it from the stack. It will not remove, it will just see what is at the top. So it shows the top element, and this is nothing but returns me element E. So here, if I just write system.out.println, top element is equal to stk.peek. That's it. When I execute it, can you see it is giving me top element as 50? Are you able to see this? Everyone. Perfect. It means it is going to show me the top element within the stack. Perfect. Next point. If you see, I have a pop function. It removes the object at the top of the stack and return the object as its value. So here, I'll say system.out.println pop method. So stk.pop. Which element was at the top element? It was 50. So which element will be popped out? Answer is 50. Can you see this? Right. Let us try to print this stk once again. So it is printing 10, 20, 30 and 40. Are we okay? Yes or no? Right. So if we can see in this scenario, when I am writing stk.push and so on, let us just create this. Just give me a moment. So when you write this, how this is internally maintained, there will be, here there is 50, 40, 30, 20 and 10. This is how the stack will be maintained. Correct? And always your top element is pointed at this location. You can fetch the top element, and if you use peek, it is going to return me 50. Right? Now, I'll just save this as stack. Right? In this case, when you say peek, it is going to give me 50. Correct. When I say pop, it is going to remove top element. So after the pop function, this data will look like this, where this data will get empty and this arrow will point to this location. In this scenario, if you say, I want to pop some index, I want to pop some element at index, in this case, is it giving me some method? No. Can you see it? Everyone? Right. But if I'm saying I'm using the list methods, list के कुछ methods है, जैसे कि remove, remove all, remove element add, आप use कर सकते हो, but it is not a good practice. Always when you are using stack, use push, pop and peek. Okay. Now, there's empty function. So I'll just check. Is the stack is empty? So I'll just paste stk.empty. It is going to return me the value in the form of true and false. It is returning me false. That means that stack is not empty. Correct? There is one more function which is called as search. Let us observe. The search function takes some object O. It can be any data. What does it return? It returns the int value. Now, what do you mean by this int value? Let us understand. What is returns? It returns one based position where an object is onto the stack. Now, what is one based position? Let us first observe. I'll just say system.out.println search element 40. So I'll say stk.search and I'll pass 40. Let us try to print the stack. On this line, it is saying 10, 20, 30, 40. Can I say 40 is at top position now? Perfect. And can I say when I searched 40, it have given me the answer as 1. So when I say search function, it gives me the output in the form of one based position. So what do you mean by one based position? Whichever is top element, it is considered as at first position. So इसका आंसर 1 है. Let us say I want to search element 20. I'll execute. Can you see I'm getting 20 at third location? It means whichever is the top, this is the top element. So it is giving the 1. Here 2, here 3, here 4. This is called as one based position. So when I say search 40, it will return me 1. When I say search maybe 30, it will return me 2. And when I say search maybe 20, it will return me 3. And search maybe 10, it will return me something called as 4. Next point, listen carefully. Now, I'm saying I want to search an element which is 88. Let's check. Can you see it is giving -1? Right. So if the element is not found, it is going to return me -1. That is called as stack functions. Let's read it. The topmost element onto the stack is considered to be at distance 1. The equals method is used to compare O to the items in the stack. So what is the equals? So maybe you can compare the items in the equal, but can you see here -1 indicates that the object is not onto the stack. So most commonly asked question over here with respect to stack is what are the methods of the stack and what do you mean by one based position? You can create stack of integers. You can create stack of, you can say string. You can check, push, pop, search, and peek and is empty function. Have you all understood up to this point? Everyone, I'll wait over here. I want all of you to look into the code, try it out, and then we can go ahead to the vector. Meanwhile, I'll create a new project. If it is done, just let me know. Make a note what is one based position. Most commonly asked question. I'm waiting for you so that you can at least have a quick look onto the code. Yes, Vijay, that's our next topic called as vector. Right. So, Kedar is asking, in the main course, there's a data structure module using Java. Is it based on the same which is seen now? No. In that case, you have to implement your own data structures using Java. You do not have to use predefined, you can say, data structures. तो जैसे आपने C++ या C यूज करके डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स इंप्लीमेंट किए थे, स्टैक बनाया था, क्यू बनाया था, लिंक लिस्ट बनाया था, एरे बनाया था, या फिर ट्री और ग्राफ्स का प्रोग्राम सी में किया था, वो आपको जावा में करना है. ओके. ऑलराइट. If you understand one single collection properly, how to use its methods, then it is easy to go. All right. Right. So again, you will get the answer. You can say in case of data structure, if you have a predefined methods, then what is the use of doing it again? Now, if you are saying, I have a collection called as stack. I have a collection which is push, pop, empty, and search functionality. But when you say I want a collection, let us say something called as array list or a linked list. So in this scenarios, you have some predefined functions, predefined things which are already present, correct? But in some of the scenarios, आपको original data structure में कुछ modifications करनी है. In those scenarios, you have to define your own classes and objects. That means the predefined, जैसे आपके पास interfaces है, predefined enum है, predefined इतने सारे classes है, फिर भी आप खुद का class create करते हो, right? Of course, yes. Same is the case over here. आपके पास predefined data structures तो है, लेकिन उस data structure में ही आपको कुछ modification चाहिए. Maybe on some specific elements, maybe on some specific logic part. Then you can go ahead with defining your own linked list class, own stack class, and so on. Are we okay? That's what is the use of learning data structures. Until the time you do not understand the internals of a data structure, how will you use the collections to? Right. Perfect. Predefined NP टाइप के लिए हैं, तो जो आप बाद में भी बनाओगे वो भी NP टाइप के और P टाइप दोनों के हो सकते हैं. It's not necessary कि predefined आप सिर्फ NP टाइप के लिए यूज कर सकते हो. You can create a int array, you can create a array list. But the difference is, if you create an int array, then you cannot perform the functions in the int array, which is ready-made functions. But if you create an array list, you can perform the functions. Are we okay? I hope the things are clear. Right. Shall we go ahead? And dynamic too. Perfect. Good. See, even if you do the cloning, cloning will just replicate it. It will not modify the internal structure, right? It will create a replica. That's it. All right. Shall we go ahead to the next class, which is called as a vector class, or shall I wait? Are you guys there? All right. So let's go ahead and work with the next class, which is called as a vector class. Now, if you can observe, vector is also a generic class. That is first point. When you talk about a vector, it is having the superclass as object. It is having the interfaces serializable, clonable, iterable, collection, list, and random access. The direct subclass was the stack. That's what we have seen. And if you can see, the vector class extends this list. Random access, clonable, and serializable, and the list. Clonable है तो 100% clone method रहेगा. Let's check. It is there in the methods. But what do you mean by a vector? The one-line description says that vector is a growable array of objects. Now, it means, like an array, it contains the component that can be accessed using the integer index. Same like array, but it is a growable. The size of the vector can grow or shrink as needed to accommodate adding and removing items after the vector has been created. Now, let us say I am taking some registration form from the user, and I am assuming there are 200 registrations which will come. So what I have done in my specific memory allocation, or when I have tried to allocate a memory, I have used an array and I have allocated 250 memory allocations. Correct? So for me, this was my assumption. So from the safer side, I have allocated 250 memory allocations. Now, suppose 100 registrations came. registration scheme. If 100 are coming, I'm okay with it. My program will not crash. But suppose there was a good response for some event registration, and there were 1,000 number of entries which are coming. Now, how much memory allocation I have done? Only 250, but I have got 1,000 entries. Can I accommodate directly 1,000 into 250s? No. And here, can I also say maybe अगर मैंने array 250 का लिखा है तो 1251 entry भी आया तो भी वो मुझे array index out of bound exception error देगा. Do you agree? Right. So in these types of scenario, can I say अगर 1000 entries आती है, जैसे ही 250 entry के बाद 251 वाली entry आई, it should grow on its own. Right? That means as a programmer, I shall not do the changes in the program. मैं रन टाइम पे लोगों को ऐसे नहीं बोलूंगी नहीं नहीं प्लीज डू नॉट फिल द रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर्म आई नीड टू चेंज द मेमोरी एलोकेशन नो आई कैन नॉट डू दैट राइट दैट विल क्रिएट अ रॉन्ग इम्पैक्ट सो व्हाट कैन बी द सॉल्यूशन इज as and when the requirement comes the array size grows dynamically. In these scenarios I'll go for another legacy class इसे हम normally word बोला गया है I don't know why but it is a legacy class and that is called as a vector. So have you understood when to go for a vector class? Everyone. I'll prove the points. Don't worry. Let us check. Let us check first. Public class vector E extends this. There are four, you can say, interfaces, right? It's a growable array of objects. Now, when I say vector, there is a method. The methods are same. Add all, add element, and so on. Clone, clear. But here, there's a function called as capacity. There's a function which is called as size. There are two different functions. I'll prove the point. Don't worry. Next point. Can you see there are different constructors for the vector? The one is empty@1. It constructs an empty vector so that internal data array has a size of 10 and the capacity increment is 0. Correct? Next, just listen first. If I create a vector from any other collection, that is also okay. I can pass any collection. If I create a vector by passing some initial capacity, it means it constructs an empty vector with a specified initial capacity with its capacity increment equal to 0. Means हर बार अगर मैंने कहा I want to create a vector of 20 elements, so initial capacity will be 20 and increment will be initially 0. Next, if I say initial capacity and the capacity increment, it means जितना capacity initial 20 है, उसके बाद fill होने के बाद every time वो 3 elements से increment होना चाहिए. I'll create the vector every time and I'll prove all the points. How do we go for? Let us say first of all we will go for a default constructor having the 10 as a vector size. Correct? So now I create vector v, or vector is a generic class. I'm saying string vec is equal to new vector of type string. I need to import java.util package and then let us say first of all I'll go for checking whether vector is empty or not. So we can say vec dot is empty है क्या? हाँ, is empty function. Just check. Is empty है कि empty है? Is empty. Correct. So let us just check and see. Am I getting true? Correct. Now, before adding some element into the vector, I want to see what is the size of the vector and what is the capacity. So I'll say size is equal to vec dot size and maybe I want to print its capacity is equal to vec dot capacity. Let us check. Can you see? Initial size is 0, capacity is 10. Why it is giving size as 0? Because I don't have any element in the vector, so its size is 0. Capacity is the initial capacity which it has provided me. That means 10 element you can store. Okay. Now, I'll go for numbers. The reason is it will be easy for us to enter the numbers. Okay. Let us say now I'm writing VC dot add. I'm passing 10. VC dot add, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put 1, 2. I'll go for 5 elements first. I'll say 3, 4, and 5. After adding the 5 elements, let us first print what is there in VC, and let us try to print its size and capacity. Can you see it is giving me 5 elements within the vector? Now the size have been changed to 5, capacity is still 10. Are we okay? Right. Let me add few more elements, maybe 3 more elements I'll add. I'll say 6, 7, and 8. One more time, I'll try to print the vector and I'll print the size. 8, and let us say one more, I'll add 9. So I have added 4 more elements. So the size will become 9. Capacity is 10. Did you all get up to this point, everyone? Correct. Now let us add one more element, 10. As soon as I'll add the element 10, or you can say the last element, whatever was the initial capacity. Now the size is also 10, capacity is also 10. Are we okay? Yes or no? Right. Next point. If you can observe, now I'm adding one more element, which is 11. When you try to add an element, initial capacity was 10. If you have used an array, it would have given you array index out of bounds. But if you can see here, capacity is now become 20 and size is nothing but total number of elements. Is the capacity of the vector have incremented on its own with its initial capacity? Did you all get what is the meaning of growing at the, you can say, runtime? Perfect. Next, let us say I am creating one more vector. Right? So here I have used a default constructor. Default constructor जब आपने use किया था, तो in this case, the capacity was size is 10, capacity is increment is 0. Do you remember? Yes or no? Correct. Now, let us say I'm using the third constructor. I'll just take the same. We'll take the same example with one difference. I'm saying we will create a vector of size 5. Let us check, is it empty? What's the size? What's the capacity? Let us add 4 elements, and after adding 4 elements, let us check what it is giving me output. Initially it was empty, size is 0, capacity is 5. When you say empty, it is false, size is 4, capacity is 5. One more time, I'm adding 2 more elements. Maybe element number 5, element number 6. After adding the element, let us just try to print the vector. I'll just copy this. Give me a moment. Right? Let's one more time execute it. Please observe, initially vector was having 4 elements, size is 4, capacity is 5. I've added 2 more elements. Can you see? Size have become 6, capacity has been incremented to 10. Means can I say, जो मैं यहाँ पे initial capacity बोल रही हूँ, once your vector is over, once your vector capacity is finished, it is going to increment based on the given element. पहले 10 by default था, तो 10 का 20 हुआ था. जब आपने 5 पास किया, तो 5 and 5 के साथ बढ़ गया, so it will become 10. Are we okay? Yes or no? Perfect. So did you get the second constructor? Let's read it. It constructs an empty vector with a specified initial capacity and with its capacity increment equal to 0. जब तक मेरा capacity full नहीं होता, तब तक capacity increment is 0. Once it reaches to that specific capacity, it is basically going to increment it based on the initial value that you have given. Okay? Good. Now, let us take one more example. I'll just copy this. The same code I'll copy. Just hold on. Let me complete. I've not yet completed. Just give me a moment. I'll take different variations. Let us say I'm passing 5, 2. So let's check. I've added 4 elements and maybe I'll remove for timing this one so that you can understand. Can you see? Initially size is 0, capacity is 5. Yes, capacity is given as 5. I've added 4 elements, so size become 4, capacity is equal to 5. All right. I'll add one more element. I'm adding 5. Let us check. 5 elements are there in the vector. Size is 5, capacity is 5. I'm adding one more element. 6. Let's check. Can you see the output? Output is, as the capacity is over, it is getting incremented by 2. Why by 2? Because I have mentioned while creating a constructor, 5 indicates the initial capacity and 2 indicates every time increment the data, increment array size by 2 more elements. कुछ समझ में आया? Everyone? Is your doubts are clear? Why there are different constructors in the vector class? Perfect. Is the method is clear? Is empty? All right. Now, let us say I'm writing. There are now, let us observe some methods. All right. So let's check methods. I've used add. There's a method which is called as add element. That will also work, which is eObject. So when you say add, there is one more. Just a second. Something called as a set. Yeah. Can you see here? There's a method called as set element. You can also set some element at the specified index using this. So you can use set element at. Let us try. I'll say vc dot set element at. Maybe you are passing the data, maybe 88, and you want to set this location at location 6. After that, I'm just trying to print the vector and its size. 6 I do not have. Let us pass 4. Let's check. Yeah. Can you see here? I'm getting the size over here as this. So at the 4th location, I'm trying to insert the element. Right? 6th पे उसने array index out of bound क्यों दिया? It is because capacity अभी मेरा सिर्फ 7 ही था. Right? And if you want to say you are going beyond this capacity, instead of using v.setElementAdd, add, you can use add element. Did you all get up to this point? All right. Now, let us just try to print. Last size we have printed as 6. Correct? Now, I'm saying vc.setSize. I'm just making it as 20. And let us check what is the size. Is equal to vector size, vec.size. You can set directly a new size of the vector by using the set size function. Have you understood up to this point? All right. Any questions so far? So you can check set size, set, maybe remove element, remove all, remove at index, what's the last element, and so on. You can see system.out.println. Last element, vec.last element. Can you see? It is saying initially the last element is null. Perfect. Next, if you see here, returns the last component of the vector. Last में हमने add element 6 किया था. After that, हमने उसका size 20 किया था. At 20th location, it is nothing but, you can say, null. Right? Now, when the size is 20, what is the capacity? Let us check. What's the capacity? Can you see? When you modify its size, automatically your capacity is also changing. That's how it is. right? So let us say system.out.println. Let us check some method. You have a list iterator or iterator. Maybe you want to fetch some data, get method. So I'll say get. So I'll say vc.get at a location 5. Can you see 6 is at location 5? Correct. If I'm saying vc.get at 15th location, do I have anything at 15th location? No. So it is giving me none. Is it okay? अगर आप यहाँ पे array यूज करते थे और अगर आपने इंडेक्स रॉन्ग सप्लाई किया तो डू यू रिमेंबर वी यूज टू गेट array index out of bound exception. Here we are not getting because here there's a capacity. Is it okay? Perfect. Good. Shall I go ahead? Right. Now, suppose is the array list is no, it's not growable. Now, suppose I have tried to see capacity as 20. Okay, I'll take one more example. I'll give you break. Let me take one more example. I'll go for creating a vector having default vector or 5, 5 only. So initially it will give me system.out.println. Let us print the vector also. So I'm printing vector, I'm printing its size and the capacity. I've added 4 elements. I'm printing size and the capacity. It's working fine. Next, when I say vec.add 5, let's try to print the data. Somewhere I've done a mistake. vc.5. Okay, I'll just copy this. Right. Let's check. Size and the capacity is 5. I'm adding next element 6. When I'm adding the 6th element, obviously the size and the capacity will get incremented. But can I say in this scenario, let us assume my program is over. I do not want to use the memory now, right? So can I say there are 4 memory allocation which are getting wasted? Right. So here I'll use a method vc.trim to size. When you use this method, after that, let us check the size and the capacity. Have you understood what's the use of trim to size? It means once you know your vector data has been completed, and if you know that there can be a capacity which is available in the main memory, which is getting wasted, I do not want to waste the memory. I will use a method trim to size. What it will do? It will bring down your capacity to the same as the size of the vector. Have you all understood up to this point, everyone? Perfect. Now, the way you were having list iterator, on the similar lines, for the vector, we have one interface called as enumeration. So, let us understand. In this case, I'm adding 5 elements in the vector. The one option is I can print the vector directly and I will get this vector too, right? But another way is, let's check. In your vector class, you have a method called as elements. It returns an enumeration of the components of this vector. And elements is having a return type called as enumeration. So I'll just go to enumeration. If you can see enumeration, it is an interface. It generates a series of elements one at a time. So, if you are using, अगर आपको याद रहेगा, तो आपने array list और linked list में iterator function use किया था. Do you agree? Right. In case of iterator, you have used has next and next element. Has next and next function. In case of vector, the scenario will be same. But instead of iterator function, you use elements function. So you will say v dot elements, vc dot elements. But what is its return type? Its return type is enumeration of type integer. Maybe जैसे आप ITR iterator लगा रहे थे, वैसे यहाँ पे मैंने variable e declare किया है. Next, the concept will remain same, while e dot has more elements. System.out.println e dot next element. If you are using iterator, use the method has next and next. If you are using enumeration, use has more element and next element. Let us first execute this. Am I getting the same output as an iterator? Yes. You can go for iterator or you can go for enumeration. Both the options are available with you. But there is one difference, which I'll tell you after the break. But have you at least understood what is vector, how to use the methods of the vector, why to go for vector, and I hope you all have understood, you can say enumeration and the iterator. Right. Array list में भी enumeration C. Array list में हमारे पास elements नाम का function था क्या? नहीं था. Array list में हमारे पास iterator function था. Is it okay? I'll tell you the difference when to go for enumeration, when to go for iterator. What do you mean by two conditions, which is called as fail fast iterator and a fail safe iterator? I'll tell you. But for that, I request you, let us first try to just let me know whether you have understood the vector. Perfect. So let us continue with the vector. And if you can just observe, there is another, you can say, constructor within the vector. So first constructor that we have seen was default constructor, which gives me initial vector size is 10. Second is having initial capacity. Third is having increment, initial capacity and capacity increment. Now let us observe this fourth constructor. Someone is asking me array list capacity is by default 10. So please make sure in case of collection, let me go to the collection list. In java.util package, let us go to list collection. And in this list collection, I have array list as a class. And if you can observe the methods, then please check, do I have a capacity method in the array list? Yes or no? Yes or no? No. What does it mean? It means that if I'm using an array list, I'm not having a capacity, so I cannot check the capacity of array list. Are you getting? Capacity हम कब check कर सकते हैं जब आप vector बना रहे हो. Because the vector class is having a method called as capacity. Are we okay now? If the confusion is clear? Perfect. Now, in its constructor, it's shown as 10. Right. Please check. When you say simple array list, by default, it will give you the empty list with the initial capacity of 10 elements. But that does not mean you have a capacity function over here. You do not have a capacity function over here, right? So you cannot use that. Okay. All right. Now, let us say I'm creating another project. Maybe I'll create first array list, date 12_5. Let us create an array list, maybe of type integer. AL is equal to new array list of type integer. I'll say AL dot add, maybe I'll add first element. second element, third element, and fourth element. And here I'll add fifth element. I want to create vector VEC of integer type is equal to new vector, again of type integer, but here I'll pass AL, right? I'll import java.util.vector and let us just try to print system.out.println AL is equal to ArrayList and system.out.println vector is equal to VC. Let's execute and check. Is it okay? Now please observe the line number 15. On line number 15, which constructor I'm using? First, second, third, or fourth? Quickly tell. I'm using the second constructor. Perfect. When I'm using the second constructor, can I say array list is one type of a collection? Right. Is it extending the E element, which is every element is extending E, that is integer type? That's nothing but my collection E. So have you understood how we have tried to make or add elements of one collection in the another collection directly with the help of constructor? जैसे आप string को string builder में convert कर रहे थे, string को string buffer में convert कर रहे थे, वैसे आपने array list को vector में convert किया, right? There is a method, I'll prove on this point, something called as get class, जो object class में है, but I'll just write get class method. So you will understand कि AL object का get class कौन सा है, and let us observe what is the class name of VEC. Get class is basically a method from the object class which tells us what is the class name of this. So VEC dot get class. Can you see here? ArrayList belongs to java.util.arraylist. Vector belongs to java.util.vector. Are we okay? All right. So did you get the third constructor, vector constructor? Right. Now, let us talk about, so we have seen something called as vector, stack, and we have seen stack is a subclass of vector. We have also seen something called as enumeration. Enumeration is an interface which is belonging to java.util package. The methods of the enumeration are has more elements and next element. When you talk about has more elements, it just checks whether the collection is having some more elements or not. It is used to traverse the collection in the forward direction only. We can add, set, or remove element from the collection. Now, let us assume if you talk about enumeration, this is what the functions that we have used. E dot has more elements, E dot next element. Next point. When I say iterator, it is also an interface. It is also used to traverse the collection in forward direction. But please observe the most important major difference. In case of enumeration, during the traversing, we can add, set, or remove element from the collection. It means when I'm using the enumeration, I'm traversing through the forward direction. I can add, set, or remove the elements. But if you use an iterator or a list iterator, in that case, during the traversing, we cannot add, set the elements, but we can remove the elements. So, when you are working with enumeration, you are having two methods, has more elements and next element. When you are using iterator, you have two methods, has a next and the next element. Correct? Now, there's one more which is list iterator. When you use list iterator, it is also used to traverse in bidirectional. Means you can have a list iterator where you can traverse in both the directions. You can add, set, as well as remove element in the collection while traversing. These are the three interfaces which are majorly used on the collections for performing the traversing. It has its own methods, has next, next. as previous, previous, add, set and remove. So there are three interfaces that we have talked about. Now, if you talk about list iterator, has next and next, the elements are, you can say, there. So let us try. Into this scenario, I am creating, let us go ahead with a different example, and we will try to work with vector, and we will see all the variations. Okay. So I'll create a vector v of type integer is equal to new vector of type integer. Let us just try to add some elements, maybe few elements. Right? And let us just try to print VAC. Right? This is the one way, correct? Now, I'm going for the list iterator. So, as a VEC dot list iterator, it is a function which is present in the vector. So, let us observe, vector is having methods. The method name is the list iterator. Returns a list iterator over the list in the proper sequence. What is that return type? Its return type is the list iterator. And check it out, it is a interface. What is a super interface? It is iterator. तो या तो आप list iterator use करो या तो आप iterator use करो. Let's check it out. Here, I'll go to iterator also. List iterator is having methods. Has next, has previous, previous, remove and set. Iterator is having its own methods. Has next and next. Means अगर एक ही direction में move होना है, so you can easily go for iterator. But if you know I want to see the previous element also, then go for list iterator. So what we have seen, in this case, we are trying to use list iterator. The list iterator is having a return type list iterator interface of type integer. Maybe I'm saying LTR. Did you all understand how we have tried to write this function? Correct? Now, I'm saying in this scenario, I'll go for a has next, next, and I'll print the elements. So here I'll say while LTR dot has next. I'll say system.out.println, maybe itr.next. I'll put it into some element or I'll just write itr.next. That's it. In this scenario, whenever you are using this ltr.next, it will fetch the next element. But here, instead of me writing like this, I'll just create one integer element so that I'll first put the data into the integer element. Initially, it's null because uninitialization is not possible. Element is equal to ltr.next. And I will try to print this element. So, let us execute and check. Is it giving me all the elements? Correct. Now, if I say system.out.println ltr.next, at this moment, if I try to execute, can you see I'm getting no such element? Why? Because the iterator have moved to the last element when I was traversing in the forward direction. Once it reached to the last direction, last element, when I say, let me check the next element, it is saying no such element is present. So it's an exception. But if you say, I want to present this collection in another way, in the opposite way. So here I'll say, while itr dot has previous. So element is equal to itr dot right? So N iterators. And let us try to print the element. Once again, I'll put here some system.out.println so that you can understand the output. I'll put here only this. Are you able to understand this? So here, with the help of list iterator, I'm just writing printing the elements in forward direction. It's possible only with the list iterator. And here I'll write printing the elements in reverse direction. Let's execute and check. Did you all get up to this point? Everyone, when to go for list iterator? Are we okay? Are we okay? Perfect. Now, so here I'll write a comment for you. List iterator allows to traverse in forward and reverse direction. Please understand, जब तक ये previous element है, तब तक वो previous element दिखाएगा. But if I put a statement once again, itr.previous, it will say no such element exception. Is it okay? Right. Now, let us understand. Whenever I am trying to traverse within the list iterator, correct? I'm trying to put some element, right? I'll just copy this data. Here, instead of list iterator, I'll go for iterator. Let's check. We have created a vector, integer element null. Instead of list iterator, I'll go for iterator. Iterator function. I have to import java.util iterator. Iterator allows us to print the data only in forward direction. itr.next. So here, I'll just remove this. Let's check. Are we getting the data in the forward direction? Yes. So if you are using the iterator, it always goes in the forward direction. Even if you try has previous or previous, I do not have a method has previous and has next, has previous and previous method. So it will not work for me. Did you all get when to go for an iterator and when to go for a list iterator? Perfect. Next, coming to the next point. Suppose I'm saying if my element is equal to maybe 30. That means it will check at location 30. If my element is equal to 30, then I want to add the element 99. So logically, or you can say at this moment, can I say while moving into the direction or iteration while traversing, I'm just fetching the element, I'm printing the element, I'm checking some condition. Based on the condition, I am trying to modify the collection. Do you agree? I try to modify it. Right. Let us try to execute it. Can you see? I'm getting the exception, concurrent modification exception. Concurrent modification exception. So what does it mean? List, or you can say while or during traversing, if we try to modify the collection, it will throw an exception. And what's the exception name? Concurrent modification. Correct? And it is called as fail fast iterator. So most commonly asked question in your interviews is what is fail safe and fail fast? The fail fast iterator is a condition where while traversing, if we modify the collection, it will throw the exception concurrent modification. Rather, I will be more specific. During traversing, if we use iterator or list iterator, and if we try to modify the collection, it will throw the exception concurrent modification exception. This condition is called as fail fast iterator. As the name says fail fast, immediately वो fast fail हो जाएगा. It means it is going to throw me exception. So please listen. There are two types of iterators. One is fail fast, another is fail safe. Let's check. During traversing, using the collection reference, if we try to modify the state of collection and iterator do not allows us to do the same, it is called as fail fast. In this case, JVM is throwing concurrent modification exception. Let me complete. I'll repeat once. The second point is fail safe. Let us check. As you know, before this iterator and list iterator, I have also explained one another interface which is called as enumeration. Let me first go ahead with this vector. So I'll just go for this vector. Just give me a second. There's outside noise. I'll close the window. All right. So I am trying to have a vector VC. Next. In this case, as you know, in the vector class, we have something called as methods. We have elements as a method. Somewhere E. Here. It is having enumeration. Let's open this enumeration. It is also an interface, right? So, VC dot elements. I'll say enumeration E. Enumeration is a generic type, so I shall write a type parameter to it. So I'll go for this. While E dot has more elements, I will put this in some element. Integer element is equal to initially null. Element is equal to E dot next element. We will try to print the element, but here I'll put a condition. If element maybe is equal to 30, any condition I'm putting, I want to add one more element, 88. Let us try to print VC after this. Let's check. I'll put here /n and let's check. Can you see something? When I have used enumeration while traversing, as soon as I found the element 30, I am trying to modify the collection. It is absolutely okay and it is allowed. It is called as fail safe iterator. So let's read it. What is fail safe? During traversing, if iterator allows us to do the changes, then the iterator is called as fail safe iterator. Are the points clear to everyone? Have you all understood when to go for iterator, when to go for list iterator, and when to go for enumeration? Correct? Is it okay? Is it fine? Most commonly asked. You can do, see, अगर मैं यहाँ पे एलिमेंट को ऐड कर सकती हूँ तो आप कोई भी स्पेसिफिक लोकेशन पे भी कर सकते हो. It means, can I say, when you are using a vector, you can modify the vector while traversing, find that specific element, make the changes according to your requirement. Modification is allowed. Let's read it. It's mentioned clearly in case of enumeration, right? In this case, interface guarantees a series of elements one at a time. Successive call to next element will returning the next element. Next point. If you talk about list iterator or the iterator, see this. Give me a second. observe into this scenario. Here, it is clearly mentioned. I'm just searching some note in the list iterator. Okay, so we have got the exception, concurrent modification exception, correct? Let me show you java.util, concurrent modification exception. I was just searching some note, fail fast. Yeah, here it is. Check it out. So, it is concurrent modification exception. As a quick review, can you please quickly tell me concurrent modification exception comes under which category of exception? Checked or unchecked? It comes under unchecked. इसलिए तो आपने ट्राई कैच नहीं लिखा, तभी भी एक्सेप्शन नहीं, तभी भी उसने एरर नहीं दिया, राइट? हाउ डिड यू रिकॉग्नाइज इट्स अनचेक्ड? इट्स कमिंग अंडर रन टाइम, राइट? ठीक है, लेट्स चेक. It is not generally permissible for one thread to modify the collection. It is not allowed at, it is not a good practice. But yes, iterators that too are known as fail fast, as they fail quickly and cleanly rather than taking a risk. So, fail fast behavior cannot guarantee that you make the changes and it will get reflected. They just throw one exception, concurrent modification exception. I was just searching for this note. Have you understood what do you mean by fail fast and fail safe? तो अगर आपने enumeration use किया तो enumeration आपको fail fast नहीं fail safe enumeration है. The reason is it gives you the allowance to make the modification. In the vector also, on the last line, somewhere it is mentioned clearly. Please check here. In the vector class, it is mentioned the iterators returned by this class are both iterator and the list iterator. The methods are fail fast. If the vector is structurally modified at any time the iterator is created. Here, please check. Even if you try to add on remove, iterator will throw one exception, concurrent modification exception. What does mean? That means the iterator will fail quickly and cleanly. But it is also mentioned the enumerations returned by the element method are not fail fast. Have you all understood most commonly asked interview questions in case of collection? अभी समझ में आ रहे हैं ये इंटरफेसेस मैं आपको पहले पेंडिंग में क्यों रखा था? The reason is till the time you are not able to understand any collection, how do you want to traverse it? You were not aware about it, and now you all are aware. If I have a collection, I have to print the elements. I have different available options for it. So quickly, if you all have understood, then please tell me. I have iterator. I have list iterator. And I have enumeration. Next, जब iterator use करना है, obviously these all are nothing but interfaces or generic interface, whatever you say. This is also interface. This is also interface. Quickly tell me if you want to attach an iterator, which method you go for? कौन सा method use करते हो? Can you please tell me आप कौन सा method use करते हो कोई भी collection में जब आपको iterator attach करना है? I hope you are there. How do you write it? Iterator, ITR is equal to object name dot iterator method. Do you all agree? Right. When you want to go for list iterator, कौन सा method use किया आपने? Iterator के लिए you have used iterator. List iterator के लिए you will use list iterator. Do you remember? I hope I have given you this just 20 minutes ago. Correct. Next, what about the method used for enumeration? Elements. Do you remember? Perfect. While traversing, if you use the iterator, तो कौन सा method use किया था? To check whether I have more elements or not. Has. Next. Perfect. What about here? Has next. Right. And here has more elements. डू यू अग्री? ओके, नेक्स्ट एलिमेंट को फेच करने के लिए कौन सा मेथड यूज किया था? नेक्स्ट, हियर, नेक्स्ट एंड हियर, नेक्स्ट एलिमेंट. डू यू ऑल अग्री? Perfect. Good. Next, if I say I'm using a list iterator, was it allowed? Has, previous, and previous. Correct. Good. Quickly tell me, iterator is a fail fast or fail safe? Fail fast. Perfect. What about the next one? List iterator? Fail fast. What about enumeration? Fail safe. I hope I have cleared all your doubts with respect to traversing within the collection. Have I simplified it now? Any more doubts? Is the point clear to everyone? So we have seen iterators, fail fast and fail safe. We have also talked about something called as stack, something called as linked list, correct? Now, so if you can just observe a quick overview, please understand. Iterable, iterator, having a super interface, list iterator. Just hierarchy is drawn like this, right? Just to save the space. Next, please observe. Iterable is an interface. The method is iterator. Iterator is an interface. The method is has next and remove. Here we have list iterator. It's a sub interface. It has previous, next, and has next. It is traversable in both the directions. It's a list specific iterator. Did you all understand this hierarchy now in detail? Boxes, the contents within the box. Correct. After that, we are having a collection. It does not specify any specific behavior. That means it has a common methods like add, add all, contains, remove, remove all, and so on. Collection is also an interface. So I hope now you all are able to understand these 4 boxes as a quick revision. Correct? Next, let's come to this list. It is an interface. It is imposing specific behavior. It has implemented classes. Which classes? One we have seen array list, which is a generic class. It is basically implemented using list. Then we have seen vector. It's also called as a legacy class. It is thread safe. It is thread unsafe. What is thread unsafe and thread safe? It means when you do multi-threading concept, you can do some concurrent modifications. So that's why we say it's a thread safe. क्योंकि इन वेक्टर में हम ट्रैवर्सिंग के टाइम पे भी चेंज कर सकते हैं डेटा, तो एक थ्रेड ने अगर मॉडिफाई किया तो वो दूसरे थ्रेड को रिफ्लेक्ट होगा. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज थ्रेड सेफ. नेक्स्ट, इफ यू ऑब्जर्व, देयर इज अ लिंक लिस्ट which implements list double-ended queue. It is thread unsafe. There's one more hierarchy that we have seen here, something called as stack. So, have you all understood up to this point this much hierarchical part? Everyone? Yes or no? Safe indicates concurrent modification is allowed and it gets reflected on multiple threads. Okay. All right. Shall we go ahead? Good. Now, let us assume, let us go ahead with the next, you can say, hierarchy, which is called as a queue hierarchy. Now, I will just go ahead in creation of new project first. Meanwhile, I would request everyone put a glance on day 12_6 project. If it is understood, just post understood into the chat box. All right, guys, there are so many methods available inside, you can say, classes. I have tried to go ahead with some methods. Few methods you can also try. So for example, I have explained add method, add element E, add index E, and so on. Can you work on the remove methods? Is it okay? The more you basically, you can say, the more you will explore onto these topics will bring confidence into you. Right? So if someone is asking set method, for example, if you say set, can you understand what is the set function is doing? Integer index is taking, it is taking some element. So it is basically used for replacing the element at the specified position in this vector with a specified element. So are you guys able to understand this method declaration? Yes or no? Yes or no? Or we can say set element at. You pass some element at some index. That is also okay. It is having a return type as void. अगर आपने set यूज किया तो कौन सा एलिमेंट आपने उस पोजीशन पे सेट किया है वो एलिमेंट भी रिटर्न करेगा. सेट एलिमेंट एट किया तो रिटर्न टाइप void है. That means it will just set the element at the specified index. Are you guys able to understand these things? Right? Now, remove is one method which is basically used to remove at some index. I hope you remember yesterday we have seen set, see this, set and object. Obviously, please understand. If you say here set element at e object and integer index. अगर आपको कल का array list का example याद रहेगा, if I write array list of type integer with maybe al is equal to new array list of type integer, right? And I'm saying al or al dot add maybe 1, al dot add maybe 2, and so on. al dot remove किया तो वो कौन सा element remove करेगा? Remove at location, let us say 1. Let us say I have 10 and 20. Can you please tell me which element it will remove? What will be, which element will be removed? At index 1, it is 20. Perfect. But do you remember, suppose I have an array list of type student class. Have I created this into the last lecture? Right? I have added some S1, S2 object. And I hope you remember, if I write here S1, which object will be deleted? Will be removed. Is it having two variations? Here I'm passing index and here I'm passing object. याद आया कुछ? Everyone? Do you all remember? Have I covered this point? Right? So same is the case. Last program of yesterday's. Perfect. So same is the case over here. When you say set, if you see set, here there's an index and the element. And here there's an index and there's an object. So अगर आप object पास कर रहे हो तो set element at use करो. अगर आप value पास कर रहे हो तो set function use करो. Are you able to understand the difference? The one who have asked me. I hope you have understood. Good. Is it crystal clear now? When to go for which type of a methods? Perfect. Shall I proceed to the next hierarchy called as Q? And then I'll come back to this part. Right? Okay. Good. So, let us go ahead to the next collection hierarchy, which is called as Q. Before that, did you all went through 12_6 program? So that I can go ahead. All right. So, if we talk about a queue hierarchy, right? Let's check. In java.util, we have the interface which is called as queue interface. Correct? Queue is not the class. This is stack class tha. Queue is not a class. You have to remember this. Queue is a generic interface. Right? Queue is a generic interface. Another point. Queue is having, you can say, the package java.util. Queue is having the super interface called as collection and iterable. So please observe, in this hierarchy, iterable, collection, and queue. Are you able to understand this much hierarchy? Perfect. Coming back to the next point. Now, why they have made this queue as the interface? Have you ever heard about something called as a linked list? Yes. क्या मेरा linked list भी queue के जैसे ही work करता है? Adding of elements and so on. Double-ended queue, you can say DQ जो है, correct. Have you ever heard about double-ended queue, DQ? Have you ever heard about something called as priority queue? Right? Next, we have different types of queues available in the queue interface. क्या उन सबको बेसिक क्यू के प्रॉपर्टीज होने चाहिए क्या? Yes, of course. तो अगर मैं, if I'm taking, let us say the example of priority queue. If I make this priority queue as a class, can I write class priority queue extends object extends queue? Can I write like this, 2 times extends? No. That's the reason we have class priority queue extends from the supermost class object, but it is implementing the queue interface. Can you see? It is implementing the interface called as queue. अभी समझ में आया? कोई भी टाइप का क्यू कहो, डबल एंडेड क्यू कहो, प्रायोरिटी क्यू कहो, सिंक्रोनाइज्ड क्यू कहो, you can say something called as concurrent linked queue kaho, priority blocking queue. There are different types. We will just see one or two, because one or two examples, if you understand, you can explore always more. But at least you should know that queue is an interface, because you have so many variations within the queue. Stack में कोई भी variation नहीं है. You insert the element, push the element, pop the element. That's it. That's why stack was a class. But queue is an interface. Did you understand why queue is an interface? Point number 1. Correct. Next point. Let's observe. This is a collection designed for holding the elements prior to the processing. The basic collection operations of the queue are insertion, extraction, and inspection. Now, when you use the functions called as functions of stack, you have used the functions called as push, pop, and peep. Empty. When you use the interface queue, it is having its own methods. Please check. There are 2 variations. One is insertion of element. Either you use add element or you use offer. When you say remove, either you can use remove element or use poll. If you want to find or examine, you can go for element or the peak. Now, why there are 2 different, you can say, ways. For example, if I have 3 elements in the queue, right? I'm removing all the 3 elements. After removing all the 3, when I remove 4th element, it will throw me the exception. But if I say I have, let us say, 3 elements, I'll use poll method. All 3 elements are removed. But after removing all the 3, if I use poll, it will return a special value. That is called as, there are 2 available possibilities. Correct? Now, everyone, my queue is an interface. तो मैं interface का तो object नहीं बना सकती. So definitely, I have to go for something called as its implemented classes. So let us try to work with a priority queue. Linked list we have seen. Let's check array queue and priority queue. The priority queue is a generic class who is implementing queue interface. It is based on the priority heap. The elements of priority queue are ordered according to the natural ordering. Let us check. Let us assume I'm creating queue. Maybe I'll say of type string. I'll say priority queue is equal to new, and I'll say queue, and I'll say string. Question to all of you. I'll just try to add java.util. Please observe and tell me Is it the correct statement? Line number 7. Is it the correct statement? No, it is not. Why? Because queue is the interface. Perfect. But if I just write here, priority queue, is it now okay? Right. What I have done over here, pointing to a superclass reference, pointing to subclass object. It is nothing but this is okay. It is upcasting. Perfect. Good. But if you want to be more specific, you do not want to go for upcasting, completely your wish. So how I can go for everywhere? I'll just write priority queue. That's it. Is it okay? Thick. I'll just add some elements. Let's check what are the methods. Add, insert the element at specified priority. Clear, contains, iterator. Can you see here there is a iterator? हाँ, इसके पास लिस्ट इटरेटर है क्या? नहीं, तो मतलब मैं क्या बोल लूंगी यहाँ पे? क्यू में मैं सिर्फ एक ही डायरेक्शन में मूव कर सकती हूँ. That's how it is, right? So let's say pq.add. I'm saying again pq.add. I'll just add some strings, right? Okay. And I'll just add here, please say them, correct? Let us say system.out.println. I'll just try to print what is there in this queue. Are you able to see some output? Everyone? Perfect. Now please understand, is my priority queue is storing my data in the sorted manner. So if I have a requirement, whenever any new element is coming to my collection, I want to store it in the sorted order, whatever is the, you can say, data, but it should be sorted, correct? So can you see, initially I have put Akshita, then I've put trainer, then Sunbeam, then Core Java, then Python. But can you see all the elements are alphabetically ordered? It is called as ascending order or the natural ordering. Java में उसे natural ordering भी बोलते हैं. So can you see my priority queue is sorted in irrespective of the order. Right? Now, everyone, let us check. Let us check. Why does P came at the end? I also just let me check. Yes, it should come on third place. It's P. Okay, let's check. I'll put it at this location. So it's still coming at the end. It should not. Let's check. Or let me just remove for time being. Why it did not work? We will check. Was it in small? No. Maybe I'll just write it in small. Is the ASCII value is diff, but if you put it in capital, what's the no, it should come in between. Why it did not come? Okay, we will check. We will check this. Let's move. So let us check. I have ordered sequence. It attempts, you can say, put it into the ascending order, right? Let us just try with another element. I'm saying pq dot element. It is giving me the top element or the front element in the queue, right? So it will print the front element into the queue using the element function, the head. Let us say I'll try to create one priority queue where we will try to use offer, we will try to use add, we will try to use all these combinations, correct? So let us create one priority queue. I don't know why it is not sorting. It should sort, but let's check. Now, When I try to use element, it gave me the front element. When I say pq dot remove, pq dot remove, and pq dot remove 3 times, assuming I have 3 elements and I'm trying to remove the elements. The elements are removed. After removing, let us try to print this pq. I'll execute it. I'm getting the empty queue. But when I say one more time, I'm going for remove, then let's execute. Can you see I'm getting the exception, which is no such element exception. It's not sorting, maybe. यहाँ पे भी उसने नहीं sort किया है. We will check it out. But have you understood? It is giving me no such element exception. It means when you try to remove the elements, in that case, once the queue is empty, when you go for remove, it will throw one exception. And that's what it is said. Remove throws the exception. Let us say I'm writing element. After removing, I'm just writing system.out.println pq.element. That means please try to give me the first element. Can you see here also it is throwing me the exception because my pq is empty, right? So if you specify some size of the priority queue, if you go beyond that size using the add method, it will throw exception. If you remove the elements when they are not available in the queue, it will throw the exception. If your queue is empty and if you try to fetch the element on the top, it will be throws exception. Have you understood up to this point? Yes or no? All right. Now, next point. Let us observe if I'm using these methods, poll and peek. I'll go ahead with the same example. And we will go for, instead of remove, I'll go for poll. So every time I'll say poll. Here also I'll say poll. In this case, it should not throw me the exception. It should return me some special value, pq.poll. I'll just write it into system.out.println pq. It's giving me empty. And if I just put this into system.out.println pq.poll, can you see it is giving null? Null. So null is the special value. Is it okay? Please check. If you use poll, it returns a special value. At what moment? When the queue is empty. If you say, instead of element, I'll use peek function. Let's check. Here also, it will return null. So अगर आपको exception throw नहीं करना है, तो आप poll and peek methods use कर सकते हो. If you want the exceptions to be handled, if exception is occurred, then you have to handle it. Then you go for add, remove, and element function. Have you understood this table, everyone? So each method is having 2 forms. One throws the exception if the operation fails, and the other returns a special value. Either it returns null or the false, depending upon the operation. Are we okay? You can attach an iterator to the priority queue. You can attach a list iterator, only the iterator, and you can use all the methods in the queue. See the methods, whichever are available. Add, you can say add element, clear, comparator, and so on. Contains, iterator, offer, peek, poll, size, and so on. So if you see here, add method, add the element into the priority queue. It basically adds the element into your, you can say, collection, whichever is the collection, right? So this is basically one kind of collection which is called as priority queue, which comes under the queue hierarchy. You can create array double-ended queue. You can create a linked list and so on. Can you see linked list? Yes. Linked list में super interface is nothing but queue. Other implemented interfaces are queue. But can you see direct implementation is double-ended queue. The reason is Q is having its subinterface as a DQ. Why DQ? Because in the linked list, you may perform the operation at the both ends. So please listen. If you go for a double-ended queue, it has the elements insertion and removal at both the ends. The DQ stands for double-ended queue, or it is basically pronounced as DEQ. Here, most double-ended queue has no fixed limits on the number of elements. Please observe, there are 12 methods that you can go for if you go for double-ended queue. Let us check. The functions will remain same. For example, the way you were having add, remove an element, in double-ended queue, you have add first, remove first, and get first. Add last, remove last, and get last. Next, the way you were having offer, poll, and peak, the same you have offer first, offer last, poll first, and poll last, peak first, and peak last. So, if you use these first methods, remove method and get method, the first column, it may throw the exception. If you use offer first, poll first, and peak first, it will return a special value. Did you all get how these methods are designed? When I'm saying DQ, it means it is double-ended queue. When I'm saying double-ended queue, it is having its own implemented classes, something called as linked list, something called as array double-ended queue. Now, you can use any specific class based on your requirement, right? So if you can see, array DQ operations basically are remove first occurrence, contains, and so on. Please check, iterators are fail fast. Here also it is mentioned clearly. If you see the methods, add last, get first, get last, iterator, offer first, offer last, peak first, peak last. So, did you all understand how we can go for different types of queues, and accordingly we can go ahead? Yes or no? So, if you want to create any array DQ, you can create an array DQ and try to perform these operations. Shall I give you one practice question? Can you see here? इंटीजर नम एलिमेंट्स आपने एरे डीक्यू के कंस्ट्रक्टर में इंटीजर नम एलिमेंट्स दिया है. बाय डिफॉल्ट वो कितने एलिमेंट्स होल्ड करेगा? 16. बट इफ यू से आई वांट टू होल्ड 5 एलिमेंट्स, यू कैन क्रिएट 5 एलिमेंट्स. लेकिन 5 एलिमेंट्स खत्म होने के बाद इफ यू यूज अ ऐड मेथड, it will throw the exception. That's how it goes. Did you all understand? Someone have asked me when this add method will throw the exception. If you have specified the element size, if you go beyond the size, then definitely it is going to throw the exception. Are we okay? All right. Shall we go ahead? So, if you want, we will just go ahead with one example. Array DQ. Let's try. In this array DQ, maybe I'm creating an integer type, maybe A1, new, array deq, and of type integer. We have to import java.util, A1 dot, maybe I'll say add 10, 20, and 30, right? Let us try to print A1 or array DQ. I'll just try it with different values. So that let's check how it is inserting. It's inserting in the same order the way we have done. The reason is it's an array. So array always goes in the sequential manner. Correct? Next. Here, if I try to remove some element, you can use remove first, remove last, peak first, peak last, or offer first, offer last, and so on. So based on, you can say use, you can just say remove first method. So A1 dot remove first. The first element is remove. That's how you can go for other elements. After removing the first element, let us use something called as peak or maybe element. Can you see? पहला element remove हुआ, top element is 22. Are you okay? Yes or no? Perfect. Good. Shall I go ahead with another example of priority queue? Correct. Now, let us go ahead with a separate, you can say, example where you can go for something called as comparable and comparator. New class day12_9. Let us check first. So we have seen priority queue, double-ended queue, array queue, and the linked list. Queue is an interface. It is having these many methods. Most of the, so someone will definitely have a question. Ma'am, if there are so many implemented classes for queue, how do we remember it? So you do not have to remember all the classes, but majorly you should remember in case of queue, these are the most commonly used. Priority queue and double-ended queue are the most commonly used. You have these many methods. Queue, we have used this, maybe when you use empty, peak, and offer, or you can use add, element, and remove. So combination you should follow properly. When you go for DQ, it is pronounced as dec. In case of DQ, you have these many methods. In case of DQ, it has a linked list or array DQ. Array DQ provides the facility of using double-ended queue and resizable array. It is basically belonging to DQ interface. Priority queue maintains the heap data structure. So let us take one numeric example with priority queue, right? So that whatever was the problem with sorting, it uses in the background heap data structure, you will understand. PQ is equal to new priority queue. This is a spelling mistake. All right. Now, let us say I'll add pq.add maybe 5, pq.add maybe 2, pq.add maybe 55, pq.add maybe 11, pq.add maybe 33, maybe 20, and let us try to print pq. Now, check this out. Now, it is basically giving me the data not in the sorted manner, but actually it is giving us the data in the heap order. So it has given me 2, then it has given 5, then maybe 20, 11, 33, and 55. The reason over here is priority queue just try to maintain in the background something called as heap data structure. So it provides the functionality of heap data structure. So when you say it is a heap data structure, it maybe uses sorted to nahi hai, that is true, but it is basically unordered type of collection. When you say it is unordered type of collection, in the background, it uses some heap data structure. Now, what is heap data structure? It maintains the hash table. It maintains the heap tree structure where it will try to maintain your data. So it is not going to be in ordered sequence always. It is going to be based on background में उसने heap data structure कैसे follow किया है उसके ऊपर depend करता है. So sometimes you may receive the data in the form of, you can say, sorted order, but here it is mentioned priority queue is unbounded based on the priority heap. तो अभी आपके heap में priority पहले कौन से element को इसने consider किया है, that is based on the logic behind this. Priority queues are ordered according to the natural ordering or may be provided by comparator in the queue construction time. Now, when you say priority queue, it does not permit us insertion of the data in the same sequence. So you can say when you are trying to use a priority queue, it does not maintain synchronization. When you are using the priority queue, background में it uses a heap data structure. So always it is not necessary that your elements will come in the complete sorted order. The elements may vary every time. Maybe you say priority queue dot add one more time 5. Let's check. Is it allowing me 5 and 5 once again? Yes. Even though it ended at the end, even though it is added at the end, but still it is working for us, right? It means it basically maintains a heap data structure, and for that it uses the sorting. Correct? So that's what I'm saying. Sorting nahi आया. The reason is it does not mean कि हमेशा वो आपका result sorting में देगा. वो heap data structure maintain करेगा. Correct? It's mentioned, right? So see this. If you see heap data structure, so it's a process of creating a heap from an array. So it is based on heap time complexity. Means it is not necessary कि हर time आपका element you can say sorted रहेगा. Sometimes it uses something called as binary tree. Sometimes it uses some swapping technique. Sometimes it uses minimum and maximum heap tree. So there are different techniques which are basically used when a heap data structure is maintained, right? So that's why you can go for heap. When you say natural ordering, it does not permit कि उसी sequence में आपके elements आएंगे. It will just go ahead with some kind of heap, right? So it is not necessary कि minimum number पहला आया है, बाद में ज़्यादा number आया है. So it is not like that also. You can check pq.add. Maybe I'm adding 88. Let's check. Can you see 88 is in between? So it is unordered collection where it maintains always the sorted data, unsorted, or you can say unordered type of collection. Behind the scene, it is using heap, right? Now, sometimes you want to sort the data. For example, I'll just go ahead with one, you can say another interface, which is called as, I'll not save this. This already I've saved it. Okay. Sometimes we want to go for set we will see tomorrow. But yes, sometimes we want to go for something called as comparable and comparator. If you can see in the case of interfaces, I have explained you the concept of different interfaces. But yes, there are two more interfaces which is called as comparable and comparator. Correct? Now, let us work with the comparable and comparator. As the name says, comparator and comparable, they are used for comparing the objects. So, when to go for comparator and when to go for comparable, let us understand. If you talk about comparable, it is there in java.lang, right? If you talk about comparator, it is there in java.util. These are the 2 points that you need to understand. Now, I'll take you one example. Let us say I have one class which is movie class. Correct? In this movie, I have some rating, I have some name, and maybe I have some year. Now, have you ever seen in many of the websites something called as filter option? Have you ever seen filter option? Filter when you do some shopping, you filter based on the, you can say, price, you filter based on some color, you filter based on some specific size, you filter based on some brand, and so on, right? That means you are applying some filters so that you can get some sorted data. Do you all agree? Correct. So how actually it works behind the scene? Let us understand. If I'm saying I have a movie class having 3 members, rating, name, and year, and I just want to sort the field based on the year. Means what is my requirement? My requirement is to sort the movie names, movie, based on year field only. So have you ever seen some of the websites, they allow you to put a filter only on one specific field? कभी देखा है आपने? कुछ वेबसाइट पे आपको एक ही फील्ड के ऊपर आप फिल्टर कर सकते हो, right? Now, when You say, I have a class and I want to put a filter only on one specific field. Then you use comparable. Then you use comparable. And if you are having comparable, it's an interface. In that case, you have to implement one method called as compare to. क्योंकि if you are saying my class movie implements comparable, तो इसका मतलब comparable का जो मेथड है compare to आपको implement करना पड़ेगा. Correct? Let us take another scenario. The same case. I have a movie class. I'll say I'll have a rating. Maybe I'll pass some name and I'll pass year. But what is my requirement? I have to sort the movie based on rating. I have to sort the movie based on name. And I have to sort the movie based on year. It means मैं जो भी फील्ड उसे पास करूं, एवरी फील्ड पे वो सॉर्ट करके मुझे फिल्टरिंग करके डेटा देना चाहिए. करेक्ट? सो नाउ लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड. Into this scenario, if I'm saying on the one field based on the movie, on the one field, I'm using a comparable. क्योंकि comparable एक ही फील्ड के ऊपर वर्क करेगा and I will go for compare to method. But what about the other two things? The other two variations, I have to go for another interface which is called as comparator. Because in one class, you can either write implements comparable or you can write implements comparator. Both cannot work. So when you say only one specific field, तो आप comparable लिखते हो. But एक से ज्यादा field पे आपको sorting करना है, तो you implement a comparator. What is comparator? It's again an interface. And if you use a comparator, in that case, you should write a compare method. You should implement a compare method. So this is the need of comparable and comparator. Have you understood what is the need of comparable and comparator? If you have any application in which you have only one field for, or based on one field it should do sorting, then you can have a comparable. But if you have multiple fields to go for, we go for comparator. Example I've given you. When you say you do some shopping, in that case, maybe on Amazon and so on, you have multiple filters to be applied. You just say sort based on the color, तो वो उस particular color के ही products दिखाएगा. Sort based on the price, range between 5,000 to 10,000, so उतना ही range का products दिखाएगा. That means, are you putting more than one sort filtering technique? Yes. In that case, you have to go for comparator. How to write a program, that I will explain you. But did you understand when to go for comparable and comparator? Perfect. Now, when you are working with the comparable, as it is mentioned in the interface also, comparable comes under java.lang package. It comes under java.lang package. Right? And I'll make a space. And this particular comparator comes under java.util package. These things you need to remember. Right? Now, let us write one example of comparable today. Then we can write comparator in tomorrow's class. So maybe day 12 underscore 10. Right click, new class, day 12 underscore 10. As I've said, let me create a class movie. And inside this class movie, maybe I have some rating, float, or maybe I'll go for a double variable rating. Maybe I'll have some name. Maybe I'll have some year, correct? And here I may have some constructor, source, generate constructor using fields, and I'll say generate, correct? Next, I'm having If you want getters and setters, you can write getters and setters. Otherwise, you can just have it as it is. Correct? I want to perform sorting. Correct? So I will say implements comparable. Now, when you say class movie implements comparable, comparable is available in java.lang. So let us first go to java.lang package. In this, you have an interface called as comparable. Quickly tell me, is it a generic interface? Yes. So can I say yahan pe in which class I am trying to do the comparison? In the movie class. So can I pass my type parameter as a movie? Is it okay? Perfect. Next point. When you say comparable, it's an interface. And if you see the methods, it has one method compare to. So can I say in this movie class, if it is implementing the comparable, it's a interface. Do you remember this error? Add unimplemented methods. Do you remember this? Right. So if I add this, it means I have to override, same as abstract, perfect. I have to override compare to method. What I'm trying to compare, maybe I'll just say, whichever is the year, this dot year minus o dot year. जो भी मेरा ऑब्जेक्ट आता है उसके साथ कंपेयर करो और ईयर का कंपैरिजन करो. It will do its sorting on its own. Let us check. First of all, I'll create few objects and put it into array list. Maybe I will create array list of movie. I'll say list is equal to new array list of type movie. Then I need to import java.util.arraylist. I'll create list.add, maybe new movie, and I'll put some data. Maybe I'll say rating, name, and year. I'll pass some rating 4.5. Name is, let us say, any movie. I'll say ABC. And maybe I'll just pass year 2020. Next, I'll add one more movie object, 4 objects. Maybe I'm giving some 3.5, maybe I'm giving 3.2, and maybe I'm giving 3. And here, let us say I'll write here movie name PQR, movie name DEF, maybe movie name EFG. Here, I'm passing some data. One is 2000, 2019, maybe I'm giving 2017, and let us say here I'm giving 2023. Correct? So I've passed 4 fields and I want these movies to be sorted accordingly, right? Now, if I just try to first print this list, let us first try to print this list. I'll say list. Inside the list, I will have 4 movie objects. Can you see this? Right. If I want to go for printing the movie objects, I shall write toString and definitely I'll print movie name, rating, and this. Okay. Shall I write here? For loop for each movie M in my list system.out.println. I'll just put M. Let's execute. Are you able to see I'm getting all the 4 fields which I have inserted in the array list? Perfect. Next, it is before sorting. Now I want to sort my array list. So I hope you remember array list is a collection. And when I say I'll pass collections dot sort inside the bracket list, will it sort my complete collection? Of course, yes. Let's check what it is giving us as the output. Are you able to see the difference, everyone? the year is being sorted. Are we okay? Yes or no? All right. But how it came to know that I will sort or I have to sort based on the year, right? Now let us work. We have given collection.sort list. I'll just write collection.sort list. So I will go to collections.sort method. Collections kahan pe tha? Java.util mein. Collections was the class name. And there was a method called as sort. Check this out. S. I'll go to sort. Please observe. Collection.sort. Have I passed an array list? Right. Have I used the method static hai to collections.sort and bracket mein I have passed the list? Correct. Now please understand, it sorts the specified list into the ascending order according to the natural ordering of its elements. Right. Let us just click onto it. Let us observe. Can you see void sort list t? It is a static method, but please ensure whichever t you are passing, मेरा list कौन से type का था? At a list of movie. Movie must extends comparable. Is my movie was having comparable as the interface? Yes or no? Yes or no? Of course, yes. Have I satisfied this requirement by putting a condition to it? Yes. Please check. Sorts the specified list in the ascending order. All the list must, and all the elements in the list must implement comparable interface. Did you all understand why I have written class movie implements comparable? All the elements inside the list. How many elements I have? 4 elements. Are they objects? Yes. Belonging to which class? Movie. Is my movie implement comparable? Yes. And अगर implements comparable किया है तो वो background में कौन से method में जाता है? Compare to. So check this out. Comparable is the interface. Let's read this. This interface does the total ordering. The ordering is basically referred as the class natural ordering. The class compare to method is referred as natural comparison method. So can I say in this scenario, whenever you are implementing the comparable interface, you should override compare to. तो जब आप actually collection.sort method लिखते हो, behind the scene, it sees what is there in the list. It's having 4 objects. Are the 4 objects belong to which type? Type parameter T. What is T? It is movie. Is my movie is implementing comparable? Yes. Is my comparable is of type parameter T? Yes. If I have a comparable interface, I shall implement compare to function. What I'm doing in the compare to function, it will iterate through automatically within the collection, comparing the year and the other object year. It means 2020 and 19 are passed, then 19 and 17 are compared. Behind the scene, it will perform all the sorting on its own, provided you have given comparable and the compare to. Did you all get, everyone, the flow of the execution of the program and the meaning of comparable? तो अब जब भी आप collections.sort लिखते हो, ब्रैकेट में अगर आपने कलेक्शन पास किया है तो बैकग्राउंड में it searches whether the content within the list are implementing the comparable interface. And if they are implementing the comparable, do I have a compare to method? If yes, then only it will work for us. If you put this compare to function into comments, just observe. I'll save it. It is going to give me error over here only, that you should implement the compare to method. Are we okay? Right. This is the current object. O is the past object. Background में आपके M1, M2, M3, M4 4 objects है. तो पहला M1 will be the current object. M2 will be the O object. M1 will be compared with M2. M1 will be compared with M3. M1 will be compared with M4. This is how it is going to iterate through the collection on its own. Is it okay? All right. Any more doubts? Please do ask. All right, good. So behind the scene, it uses quick sort or the merge sort. Sorting uses any kind of sorting algorithm. Yes, it uses quick sort. Quick sort. It uses quick sort. Is it okay? So you can see in collections, there is a sort method and it is mentioned over there. I'll just go to documentation. Somewhere there is sort method, comparable, and so on. It uses some technique, maybe quick sort it uses, merge sort or the quick sort. Those are the fastest one. जैसे arrays में sort method था ना, arrays methods में sort भी था ना. Let me just go to sort method in arrays, right? So it is mentioned somewhere in the documentation. Can you see here? Merge sort. It uses merge sort. Iterative merge sort. Iterative means it will automatically iterate through the collection. Okay? Okay? All right. So did you all understand up to this point the concept of comparable? Shall we complete comparator in tomorrow's session and the remaining set hierarchy? Perfect. Because you need a good practice in today's topics, whatever I have covered, right? So tomorrow, initially, we will go ahead with the comparator, and then we will see set hierarchy, and we will switch to the next topic called as files. Is it okay? All right. So I'll stop over here. If you have any queries, please do ask. I'll wait here. Thank you very much.